What's going on, guys? Spud here, and welcome to another Lost Records Bloom Rage video. And as promised, we are doing our Tape 2 review. Okay. First of all, I've got to say thank you so much for the support on the last video. It's my third most viewed ever YouTube video in less than 72 hours. It's on, when I've just checked here, 625 views. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate all the new subscribers as well. We've had a few for the Lost Records stuff. I'll be honest, this is only going to be the sixth video of Lost Records, but if you guys want more Lost Records, we've got plenty of gameplay, plenty of the future of Lost Records. I really enjoyed doing this on my channel, along with obviously Walking Dead and Life is Strange for video games. I think they're the three that I predominantly do. But the support has been absolutely outrageous, so thank you so much for that. Um, so in today's video, we're going to be doing our Tape 2 review, just like we did our Tape 1 review, which was, fun enough, our first ever Lost Records video. Obviously, gotta say it now, please like the video, but there will be major spoilers ahead. So if you've not played the game yet, it's probably best you play it first before you watch this, because I'm going to literally be saying the entire plot and then obviously saying what I thought was good, what I thought was bad, and etc. etc. But without further ado, let's get straight let's just get straight into it. So, um, first of all, the tape starts with the nightmare sequence, which, do you know, it's the exact same vibes as Life is. It's pretty much identical to what happened in Life is Strange 1 episode 5 with the nightmare sequence with Max. You're going through everything that's happened with Chloe in the past week, but obviously it's not Swan's going through everything that happened with Nora, Kat, and Autumn in 1995. Just going through the good things and the bad things that have happened in the week, and then obviously finishes with Kat collapsing, and then she snaps out of it because she was at the bar at this time. Also, the Gus theory was it was a brilliant theory. I'm shocked that it meant nothing. They just changed his name in Tape 2 to Gus. Um, so then the next thing that happens is try and open the package, but the lock, which is actually the exact same lock from the cabin, won't budge and they can't open it, unfortunately. Um, then we go back to 95. Swan's doing some filming about that Kat's dying, and then she has to pack a box. Oh, this was the worst thing ever. And you know what? It's meant to test you. It's meant to test you. Like, it's just a puzzle, basically. But it took me over 20 minutes to pack the box perfectly. Absolutely crazy, man. Not fun, I'll say that, as much, but then Swan has to go to the Blue Spruce, which is obviously the bar, and clean up the mess from the concert. But then she's actually gets into a conversation with 1995 Pam, and Pam starts talking about the woods. And obviously, you know, in the if you guys have done the alternate reality game for the Lost Records at the Movie Palace, you will obviously remember that. You'll obviously remember that Pam talks a lot about supernatural stuff, so this isn't like new to her. And she mentions her friend Gus, so I think as well that the Gus theory. I was actually shocked that Gus and Pam had pretty much no effect at all in Lost Records Bloom and Rage Tape 2. Like, it genuinely surprised me. Um, but then yeah, you've cleaned everything up, and then there's money that you have to give. Because obviously Swan took the blame for it. Um, so then you go and get the money, give the money to Dylan, but she's obviously been really bitchy as always. She then you can actually be nice to her and film her about Kat or vent about Corey, and she doesn't hate Swan as much, or you can just tell her to do one basically. And then obviously Corey comes on his bike being an absolute arsehole as always. Um, and you can see that he's just not really a nice person. You can see that even like Dylan, he treats Dylan like shit. Anyway, after that, you go back to the cabin to collect your belongings, because obviously you've got to remember that Swan is moving very shortly. And then you bump into Autumn. Obviously, in my playthrough, Autumn was quite high up on um on the chart for me because Autumn, actually, funnily enough, even based off all both tapes, 1995 Autumn might still be my favourite character. She's my favourite character in tape one. It's close in tape two, but I think overall Autumn might still be my favourite character. It's Autumn or it's 95 Autumn or probably 95 Cat, I think. I mean, look, all the characters are great, but like out the girls, that is. Um, but you bump into Autumn for the first time since the concert, who says she's getting her stuff and going for good. She was also really upset nobody's phoned her since the incident and stuff like that. Swan tries to persuade her to stay by helping her and also playing a word game, which they actually, before, it's like a flashback because they were playing it originally in the 2022 game, in the 2022 world. She's also having a panic attack at this point, Autumn, and Swan has to try and calm her down. Um, and then 2022 Nora goes outside and you speak to her about the past and the time they broke into the garden of Kat's house to get past and had to get past Corey. Climb up a ladder just in order to see Kat. And it, you know, it was really, really enjoyable this part of the game because if you had the flashlight on your camera that you flashed up at the you flashed up at the window and Kat saw it. Obviously that was really cool. Um and then you have to get past Corey, and then if you make a mistake, the game pauses. A bit like Score Hero, funnily enough. The game pauses, and then Nora says, "No, that definitely didn't happen," and then you have to actually do it the right way. And I quite like that, to be honest. It was almost a bit like when Max had to rewind, like she didn't have a choice, she had to rewind in Life is Strange 1. Swan then gets to meet Kat again in her room. She's wearing a cap, and she's cut her hair because obviously she's got leukemia. She decided to cut her hair herself before she goes bald with the treatment. Obviously still really unwell, but it was a good segment. The scissors though took ages to find. I don't know if anyone else it took. I think no, I've seen a few people in there. The Lost Records, Velvet Cove Discord server that have had the same issue. It took so long to find the scissors, just like the box. However, Corey and Dylan then try and enter, so you have to choose to stay or leave. I chose to leave through the window, which was obviously probably the wrong decision because Corey's obviously absolutely awful. Dylan doesn't help it at the moment either in my playthrough. So Corey ends up strangling Kat, ripping up the tickets, and stealing Swan's camcorder. And just absolute dick, Corey. He's like Jefferson just without the serial killing, basically, and drugging students, but he's an awful, awful person, Corey. Yeah, one of my big regrets though was actually in my playthrough, my first playthrough. Because look, I always end up eventually doing my playthrough. I'm happy with every choice, just like in Life is Strange 1. But obviously, in my original playthroughs of games, there's obviously going to be decisions which I will make, which are the wrong ones, and definitely not being nicer to Dylan at the start of Tape 2 was definitely one of my biggest mistakes, I think. I do think though that the choices actually had a little bit of an impact, but not a major impact. But obviously, there were good choices I thought across this tape. But yeah, this whole segment with Nora was really good, and then Nora says she's gonna leave, or you can convince her to stay. Um, so again, in my first playthrough, I think, what happened in my first playthrough with Nora? I think I managed to get her to stay, but it was very close. But yeah, this was really close with Nora because I didn't really have the best relationship with 2022 Nora compared to 2022 Autumn. I just thought 2022 Autumn was easy to have a better relationship with. Um, then you get to see the meteor shower with Nora. Nora's good. She didn't get to give Kat a present. And then Autumn's finally back, and they said that they'll get to see Kat again. They end up meeting each other because Kat sneaked out the house, and Kat wants to cause destruction to the ranch. Now, this is where it gets really exciting, in my opinion. They trash and tag the shop, smashing stuff, graffiti on the cars, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. But then it's when they burn the deer sign, which is when it starts to get really, really interesting. Um, and the deer sign. Autumn says that even though Autumn's against all this like violent stuff, she says Swan should do it because Kat's unwell and Nora will do something stupid like set herself on fire. So I decided, if that's what Autumn thinks, I should go with it because Autumn was the character I was trying to impress the most in my playthrough. Um, but you could definitely tell that Autumn was a sensible character. Like compared to the others, Nora wasn't sensible, Kat was out of control, Swan was a bit silly. Not silly, like she didn't really know the best thing to do. Autumn definitely was the most intelligent and more sensible of the lot. And I think you can actually tell that in the modern day, obviously, well, we'll talk about Cat, but obviously Autumn, Nora, Swan. I don't really know, to be honest. Like, who is the? I mean, they're all pretty smart because Nora's. They're all doing well for themselves, but I would still say Autumn is probably the smartest, most intelligent person of the three. Then Cat wants to do the biggest thing she's done yet, which is set the deer free, especially her favorite one, which is called Gertie. Um, so we open the gate, the barn door. We managed to get it open and free all the deer. But just as they won't leave, and then Kat says, "Oh, get a flare," and then Dylan and Corey arrive, so it's against race against the clock. All the other deer go when the flare goes off, and Kat's got the flare in her hand. They're all wearing masks, by the way. The masks were so cool, by the way, that the girls wore. I forgot to mention that. Um, Gertie though won't leave, and Kat unfortunately has to shout at Gertie, even though even though she didn't want to. It was just for its own well-being because they probably would have. I don't know what they would have done if they just had one deer left. To be honest, especially with it being a baby one. I don't think that really have much use for them. But yeah, like I said, it gets so dramatic after this, and this is why the timing for the game, because this tape was a lot shorter than tape one. This is why this was really good, because Corey then chases them on his bike, but then Autumn loses her mask, which obviously has a massive impact, because Corey finds it, knows he's close, puts on the mask, and then sees the girls and starts rides down this hill towards them. Corey is about to catch them at this point before the deer, who I actually think were possessed by the abyss because I swear they had blue eyes for a second, attack Corey off his bike. Like the big deer does that. To save the girls so they can run off whilst Corey's in a heap on the floor with a broken bike. The girls then return to the cabin where they make Kat feel comfortable. She's clearly not well at this point. Um, they barricade the windows so that no lights are showing because obviously Kat's really cold, so they want to make her feel warm. So obviously you don't want any lights to be showing so Corey won't find the cabin. Um, Katz then sets the lock and says, "Oh, it's like four symbols, so it's one symbol for each person." And they keep repeating it. It's almost like a spell, to be honest. Then they dance, and then you can kiss the character that you're most compatible with. So obviously for me, it's Autumn. So you could also dance with Autumn or not. So I did, and then obviously Swan and Autumn kissed in my playthrough. Obviously, Kat and Nora also kissed in my playthrough. That seems to be a thing that happens if you don't pursue Kat or Nora as your closest companion, um, if you don't pursue Kat or Nora as your closest companion, um, yeah, they will basically like the canon is almost them two. Like Nora absolutely adored Kat, so obviously everything that happened with Kat, this is why it was more chance of Nora leaving regarding the box and everything. She was so hesitant in tape one. The whole reason that was because she loved Kat, and look, they all loved Kat, but like Nora loved Kat, and I think it really affected her because she didn't want to think about Kat because she was so happy with her, even though it was for such a brief amount of time. And obviously if you look at Nora's phone in tape two, there's obviously issues going on with her personal life and her wife, or soon to be ex-wife, and yeah, the whole situation with Nora and Kat, I really like it. I really like it. Now I get that a lot of people have Swan and Kat Swan and Nora. There's probably more people with Swan and Cat, Swan and Nora than there is Swan and Autumn, but I just really like Autumn. I just think she's my favourite character. Um, so then they have this dance. I might actually make that this scene, which funnily enough will be playing during this video. I actually might make this into a separate into a separate YouTube video with just like gameplay only YouTube video because someone did actually say to me, "Oh, you should do more gameplay videos when you do your gaming videos," and I'd do that, but obviously the Walking Dead one, a few Walking Dead ones, obviously got one of them got 15K, but we'll see how much this Lost Records one gets. I think it could get to like 750, 800, but I don't know if it'll get to 1,000. It would be unreal if it did. Um. Anyway, after they all dance and then they're just chilling, Corey unfortunately finds them and says like, he's basically saying like, get out and that. There is actually apparently a way, according to the choices, that Autumn can actually just open the door for him in two different ways, but um, I didn't know that. I didn't go for that way, so the girls have escaped, but Corey does set the barn and the cabin on fire, so unfortunately they're going to lose all their belongings. Obviously all the doors are barricaded. There's one which Autumn is able to lift up a log. Um, she gets everyone out, and then the log falls on her arm, and obviously it burns her arm. So then you see the burn in modern day. Now, obviously, we're talking about fires and stuff like that. Obviously, one of my predictions was that Swan might have like a burn from a scar or something, a scar from a burn, sorry, on her face or something, and that's when we'd see her in third person. But that was not the case. Um, but yeah, like I mentioned earlier, she's the most sensible character by far. She knows what she does know what she's doing, and that's what I like about Autumn. Well, not they don't. She doesn't know what she's doing, but she has the best idea. Let's say. Then they obviously run out of the barn, and Corey's following them, and so is Dylan. Then they find themselves back at the abyss, and this is when it all gets crazy because Corey sees the abyss for the first time. He can't believe it, and then he starts. Him and Kat are having a massive, massive like verbal argument where Corey says, "We'll all be better off when you're finally fucking dead," which is obviously a crazy thing to say, especially because even though he hates her and she hates him, it's obviously Corey's girlfriend's sister who's about to die of a terminal illness, so it's kind of a crazy thing to say that, um, but when Corey started mentioning Kat's friends, her eyes turned like purple. So in my playthrough, she got possessed by the abyss and start beating the shit out of Corey. I did actually see on the choice guide though that actually you can actually get a way where Corey is actually like obsessed with the abyss or something, and I don't know if that'll have an effect on the ending, but that's pretty different. Um, Now, first of all, the camera falls into the abyss. Now, that will obviously have a major impact when we get closer to the end of this video. Um, in my playthrough, now obviously you've seen the video now, Kat and Corey fall into the abyss. But there's actually multiple ways that this can play out. I believe there's like 8 to 10 different options. There's even one where Dylan and Kat push Corey into the abyss. Now, let me be honest with you. I think that is the best ending. That's the best one. I'm going to try and get that on my second playthrough. I assume it's just that you're nice to Dylan and then Dylan's nice to Kat and stuff like that. Because when Kat cut her hair and Corey's mimicking Kat for cutting her hair, like, not very well, Dylan calls Kat a freak, even though, like, I just couldn't believe that. Like, I don't think Dylan is a terrible character. But how Dylan is depends on how you are towards Dylan. Like, if you've got a okay relationship with Dylan, I think she's a fine character. But if you have a bad relationship with her, like I did, and you know, I didn't even intentionally have one, but I thought that asking her to film for her about Kat would piss her off. So that was my own fault for doing that. But yeah, Then obviously you've got three choices when Dylan and Kat and Corey were fighting. Sorry. Obviously the three choices were attack Corey, stop Kat, or do nothing. So if you attack, spoilers obviously, as I've said for the whole video, if you attack Corey, it's almost like Swan and Nora get possessed by it because they start screaming at Corey and beating him, and then they all three of them push Corey into the abyss, and then Kat just like vanishes. Because she's like she goes into the abyss almost, but you just don't see it. Something like that. I honestly I don't know what really happens with that bit because that didn't happen in my playthrough, but I've seen it. If you do nothing, Corey and Kat go into the abyss anywhere. I think Corey actually drags Kat into the abyss. But then again, it also says on my playthrough that the abyss took Kat. So honestly, I don't really know. It's a bit confusing sometimes. The abyss closes in with loads of birds flying into it after all getting possessed by it. Like they all go like out of control for 30 seconds. They all wake up. They promise not to see each other again. Now, obviously, if Kat's still alive at this point in your playthrough, she just like vanishes. This is what I mean. But I'm gonna say it now. I know it's good for the plot in the game, but I hated that they had to stop seeing each other and not talk about it and promise never to mention it again. Because honestly, right? It doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense because why would Kat have wanted them not to see each other again? I don't, that's the only thing I don't understand. I really don't understand that bit. That's something that, I'm going to probably discuss on Reddits and Discords because I don't understand it. But, yeah, anyway, the big scene is that. Then they go back to modern day, and obviously they're a bit emotional. I'll be honest, this whole scene was really emotional, but it actually got more emotional for me. So the lock's fresh, and then they open the time capsule full of memories from the summer. It sounds like Dylan sent it, which I predicted, but I was surprised we didn't see a 2022 Dylan. But I guess maybe she wanted nothing. She didn't want to have anything to do with them, because she saw what happened in the abyss as well. Um, Now this is the weird part. The camcorder that fell into the abyss was in the box. How does that happen? It also had battery life. You can see old footage, which we'll talk about very shortly. You then finally get to see 2022 Swan in third person when looking through the lens trying to record with it, but it still has the 1995 date, which that doesn't make sense. It's almost like time stopped. Um, so that bit doesn't really make again that's something that's unanswered. Not it's more of an unanswered thing than anything else. Um, so then obviously the third person stuff, and then after that it's like, oh, we promise not. So you see all these memories. There's memories for Nora, memories for Autumn, memories for Swan. It was so nice. It was a bit emotional that. And then obviously you then can do you then reminisce See You in Hell. So obviously I've seen all three endings for this. Well, no, there must be a fourth one because there is a way that Autumn and Nora leave the Autumn and Nora leave the bar, which I don't know how the hell you do that unless you genuinely try to make them both leave. Nora's easy to make leave, I'm pretty sure, but Autumn? Anyway, so the Nora Autumn Swan one is amazing. So they do See You in Hell in the Blue Spruce. So they basically get their concert, their proper concert, and then obviously you see Kat, 95 Kat, like the character obviously not really there because they're obviously not there, but it's really nice. And you take that last memoir because if you remember the concert memoir, it finishes at 7 out of 8 regardless, and then that you finish the eighth part there. I love that. Actually love that. Um, Autumn and Swan, it's just on a bench, and then you see 95 Nora and 95 Cat. Um, Swan can also be alone. Like I said, I'm gonna watch someone that actually gets this playthrough. I'm not doing that one myself because I just like Autumn and Nora too much, especially Autumn. Yeah, I'm an Autumn stan, alright, guys. They also said they won't forget 1995 anymore, which I like that if they're together. Um, And obviously then they all depart after they've done this little reminisce of See You in Hell. Obviously Nora does it in like in a I think it's in the garage or something. I think it could be in the garage because I think her parents might still live at Velvet Cove, her stepmom and dad. But I'm not 100% on that because didn't have that playthrough. And obviously the game's only been out since Tuesday, so it's only been a few days. Um, then to finish off the game, they all leave, and then Swan goes to open the car door, obviously that rent a car that she's got, and she sees a moth, and then she sees loads of them, and that obviously sparks some reaction out of her. Then there's this footage. Um, it's Cat with that camcorder, obviously like saying, "Oh, I've put this together for you," and that honestly, this is when I couldn't cope. It was like all the like best footage from the entire game, and it was so nice. But then, da da da. Cat is filming in the abyss. There's no time on the when it was filmed. It's all unknown. But you see, it says like "Help, I'm stuck in the abyss" and stuff like that. But do you know what the thing is? A hair's grown back, so I like a hair's back to like what you'll probably see right now whilst I'm talking. And I just don't understand that. How, like, what is there's so much unanswered questions that honestly, if Dontnod never released another Lost Record, and especially if even if they released one, but it had nothing to do with this story of Kat and Swan and Autumn and Nora, it would be, I just don't know what they would do, but it genuinely, first thing I'm going to say, I really hope if we get another game, or actually no, do you know, I'll go through the rest of the tiny other bit that's left. So you get all that, and look, I'm like so emotional right now. It's like the game's done. Also, when they filmed that last memoir, it's in August 20th, 1995, but obviously it's in 2022. It's got the lights as well, the purple lights. It's genuinely so emotional, and it's Don't Nod for you. Look at Life is Strange 1. I've cried at Life is Strange 1. Life is Strange 2, I almost did. It's so sad. This is just what Don't Nod do. Oh, it's so emotional. It's even emotional talking about it. I'm not even joking. Um, but yeah, they all leave each other after that. I assume that they'll be in contact forever again because they're not forgetting about 95. And it's so nice, but then it's 27 years that they've missed each other, and that's what I don't like. I don't like that. But then Swan goes back to the abyss. My prediction that it would be open in 2022 was bang on. And then she says, I'll find you, Cat, or something. And I think she enters the abyss. It looks like she enters the abyss, and that's it. So yeah, honestly. Um, So surely we are getting a sequel of Lost Records Bloom and Rage. Like we have to. We absolutely have to. I just hope that if we do, it's still with Dontnod. I don't want even though Deck 9, I liked Life is Strange True Colours and Life is Strange Before the Storm. Double Exposure, apart from episode 3 and episode 4, was pretty poor. So I really hope that Dontnod are doing another Lost Records. Some theories were absolutely crazy, like the alien one. Obviously there was supernatural stuff going on, I completely get that, but yeah, some of the stuff that was said was kind of crazy. Some theories were good and bang on though, of course. I'm just gonna say it now. I'm just praying that we get another Lost Records game. Like surely they can give us another one because it's genuinely such a good game and like such a good. It has such good potential, but the thing is, this is a game with so much unanswered questions. I just don't know. I honestly don't know, but you know, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I would be very disappointed if it's not a sequel based on these characters. But there's also a way where I think because it's one of these where it depends on your choices. I'm gonna say it. I think but there's one of these glitches I'm about to mention. Look at Nora here. Where's the car? She's just sat down. There was a lot of that with Cat in the deer with the deer as well. It was just a bit bonkers. But oh, I'm gonna say it now. I have a feeling if we get a sequel, that Autumn and Nora won't be as involved as much as we would like because it's determined based on how you act with them in 2022, how long they are how long they are here at the end of the game. I obviously would love it for them to be in it a lot, but I think if we get a sequel, Swan and Cat will be the main characters. I just don't know what's going to happen with Cat, honestly. And if Cat's still alive in the Abyss, somehow, is Corey alive in the Abyss? Because Corey's always in the Abyss as well. So let's see what happens there. Um, let's just see what the future holds. It's going to be a while until we find stuff like that out. Don't Know did not disappoint here though. It was very, very good. I'm going to give episode tape 2 a 9.4 out of 10. So overall, it's probably like an 8.8. I would give it out of 10. I think the episode 2 had faster pacing. It was more dramatic. It was definitely better than better. It was definitely better than tape 1. Massive shout out to Dortnod for this. Though it was so good. Um, and yeah, that's going to be the end. So make sure to like. Let me know what you thought of tape 2 down below. And I'll see you next time. But thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.